that people here in Hamakua feel very strongly about the GMO, or at least not allowing GMO to be part of our agricultural crops here in Hamakua. And I think that we've done some things legislatively that I'm pretty proud of. I did put the legislation together that when we actually leased out the Hamakua lands, the public lands, we made sure that we had a condition in there that if you were to utilize this land, you cannot, grow GMO products or develop GMO products on this county lands, and that was passed unanimously by the Hawaii County Council. I'm very proud of that. So those farmers that are on those lands understand that if you're going to do farming on these public lands, it would be GMO-free. We also passed legislation that talked about GMO-free kalo and GMO-free coffee. I'm very proud of that. And just recently, we passed the legislation that talked about GMO labeling at the state legislature. So I think it's something that is certainly reflective of the community, and I've tried to be a voice for that. And there's a lot of question in regards to how it affects our health and how it affects our children's health. And as a parent, you don't have to be a politician to be concerned about that. As a parent, as a community member, it's something you're concerned about. And that's why for us, we feel very strongly that if the industry feel that it is okay, and then why is it that there's so much resistance to labeling the products, letting people know, so at the very least that there is choice, But I think more than anything else, I think Hawaii has an opportunity, being that we're surrounded by water, 2,000 miles to the nearest mainland city, and we have an opportunity to be GMO free, to be that place that we're in the United States there is no GMO product, and I hope one day that we'll reach that realization. All about education. I think more and more people hear about these things and see these informational films. It helps everyone, and I think it's something that should be required, really, true, with government officials that deal with these issues, so that they know that there is a science out there that is saying that this can be detrimental to the public's health.
What do you think the reaction from the state is on these things, and more importantly, are they being honored by these multilateral corporations?
Obviously, at the state, it's a different story. Certainly, there has been some resistance. Obviously, some legislation have gone forward that has not passed. But that's why I think the people here at the county level, the county council is really the closest government to the people. We're the closest form of government to the people, and it's important that we, even if it may not be our jurisdiction, it's important for the county to implement or stand up for home rule. Just because there's layer of government, it doesn't mean that one government or one section of government is more important than the other. I think we are just as important as a state, simply because we are closer to the people, and we need to be that voice for the people. So I'm a very strong supporter of home rule and making sure that the people at the county level have that platform and voice to say how we feel our community should feel, look like, and taste like.
Feel is next for the Occupy Monsanto, or just pretty much the activism against GMOs? What do you feel?
Well, I personally, I have not been involved in that specific effort. I'm learning more and more about it, but the more and more I learn about it, the more and more I do want to get involved. So, I'm excited about what I saw here tonight. I'm excited about the enthusiasm, and I look forward to helping to educate more people, including myself.
What will you personally do next to help protect our communities against GMOs?
Well, I think one of the things is to being that I'm still council member, at least to the end of December, is to continue to preach the fact that when we have opportunities to legislate and to dole out public lands, it's important that we send out that strong message that governmental entity locally, have a say and say that we should not be developing GMO on county, public-owned, and even state-owned land. All right, hey, mahalo, thank you very much. Let's keep Hawaii GMO-free. Aloha.
I'm Eden, and tonight we're celebrating Occupy Monsanto. It's the anniversary of the Occupy movement. Contact me at GMO-free Hawaii at Gmail and get the new URL for the Hamakua Ag Plan. We're here at the People's Theater tonight. Marty Dredd, Maui musician, plays at Farm Aid. He wrote a great song, Say No to Monsanto. And tonight is Occupy Monsanto night all over the world, today and this whole week. And so we wanted to have this event to bring our island to a new level. You're aware of the Hamakua Agriculture Plan?
I served on the board that produced it. And then I currently serve on the steering committee for the Hamakua Development Plan.
CDP.
Yeah.
is the Hamakua Ag Plan, a lot of us are concerned that so much public input went into this. In fact, we were asked by the Farm Bureau to stop and prove that nobody wanted GMOs. We did an elaborate survey. The survey came back resoundingly opposed to GMOs. So after all those public meetings and all that effort, we have the Hamakua Ag Plan. So far it seems to be disregarded, and I'd like to know, is it included in the CDP, or what do you know about the GMO component of this plan since you were part of it?
The GMO component currently, I haven't seen it in this next community development plan.
Why would that be when that's such an important part of the Hamakua Ag Plan?
You know, we haven't seen the draft plan. It should be coming out in the next couple of months, and we'll find out then if it got included. We are an ad hoc steering committee, so you know, we're put in place. The planners give us the document, and then we decide if it's reflecting what the community has.
But you were saying you were involved with this one too. And
I served on the board. I wasn't there at that time, but I've served on the board that produced that.
Part of the public meetings. And what
Right.
was the GMO component of this?
Basically, it calls for no GMO on the coast, as I recall.
So how do you account for that, being Department of Ag representative and ignoring the will of the people?
Well, let's see. I've been deputy director for 6 months. Island Dairy was growing feed for years. They've been growing GMO corn, if I can tell you. So they've been growing GMO feed for years. It's just recently been purchased by a family farm, and he bought Island Dairy. And so they inherited the seed trials that are there. And so that's what I was imparting to the group this evening. As for speaking about the will of the people, I can't do that, especially with 6 months. And, you know, why they chose to do what they did, Island Dairy, I can't speak for that too. I wasn't working with that entity. But in the time that I've been at the Department of Agriculture, when this new operator came in, with the innovative plans they have for zero waste and positive energy, they're putting in biodigesters and composting.
That's all well and good.
I
We're
know,
talking
and
about
so
GMOs
I'm
tonight.
talking about how I got involved in this. And so they're also doing their trials for feed, and that's what the trials were. And so the trials they choose to put in the future, I don't know what they'll be.
Okay.
They're looking at conventional corn.
Russell Kokubun is the chair of the Department of Agriculture of Hawaii. He came out to Honokaa a few months ago, and we asked him some questions as well. The former Department of Ag chair, her name escapes me right now. It was
Sandy
Sandy Kunamoto. She was well liked in farmers union circles, and she never said anything about GMOs personally. And actually, in context, that was a brave thing to be, because we have a pretty much GMO popularity thing going on at the state legislature. Russell, however, has bent over backwards to recommend GMO crops. And we tried to ask him the same question when he came out here to Honokaa, but pretty much dissembled and didn't answer the question. How can he disregard all this? You know, I remember J.J. Andrade, our rancher here, real involvement in this Hamakua Ag Plan. So much grassroots is involved in this, and to disregard it is like to disregard some of our ancestors, to disregard our whole will.
As a native Hawaiian living here near Waipi'o, I believe we need to get GMOs off our island. It is threatening our food security, our children's future, and we must get this off our island because it changes your genetic structure when you eat these foods. So I say no to GMOs.
Public Land Development Corporation. You know about that one, yeah, Mike? Oh, bro. Public Land Development Corporation signed in 2011 by Abercrombie after 3 days. Introduced to the House, the State House, passed. The second day, introduced to the Senate, passed. The third day, our faithful governor signs it. In 3 days, the greatest land grabs, theft of over 2 million acres passed in 3 days. They can't even pass, deciding where to put the rubbish takes them 5 years to decide. But a land grab of over 2 million acres, so that 5 people in a corporation embedded within the DLNR, in partnership with private entities that we're not allowed to know who they are, could be Monsanto, could be the banks, could be the oil companies, could be the government of China. We don't know. They don't tell us. All they tell us is, you don't have a say. people, sheeple, we own this land, which we stole, and we own you. You don't have a say, and we are exempt from zoning, we are exempt from taxation, and if you live next door to one of our projects, by the way, you're gonna have to, through eminent domain, pay for the utilities and the sidewalks and all of that. And if the project fails, you gotta bail us out too. Now that's the Public Land Development Corporation.
And rises tractors to the out there. We can work on decontaminating, you and us. Can we do that?
Well,
Can you recommend it?
can I recommend it? We can have the discussion.
I mean, any concern on using our environment as physics labs for these pretty much experiments? Just like as you said, we don't know what the outcome is.
The human condition is such that we've always used the environment as our lab. When the Hawaiians first came here and started burning off the forest, that was an experiment when they weighed into the different species that were here. And then again, when the Western intervention, it's always been a lab. And it's always been a lab in Europe and in Asia and in every place that you have human intervention.
Personally look into any scientific data that shows that there is human health effects and environmental effects due to GMO food.
I've looked for it. I haven't seen it definitively.
That they're GMO free. And as far as I know, there are dozens of natural food stores around the country starting to do this. I hope it spreads beyond just the natural food store. But we're going to notify all of our brokers and all of our sales reps and manufacturers that we won't be accepting any new products that have a risk of GMOs. And as Jeffrey Smith talks about the 5% tipping point, this is a big part of it, and I'm proud to be able to play a role in it because we're going to send a really strong message to food manufacturers that if you want your food product to be on our shelves, it's got to be GMO free from now on. And we will gradually eliminate the GMO containing products that we have, but we can't drop them all right now. We're going to still be a grocery store, and unfortunately even a natural food store. But this is our step along the way. We're really excited to do that.
Up the deputy of the Department of Agriculture, and I felt like we had an imposter in our midst that was trying to compromise or be complacent and be sympathetic towards the needs of the GMO, and it's absolutely what we're not representing here. Nobody really wanted to hear what he had to say because it was
and his comments after,
for the corporations, not the people.
And when we approached him afterwards to ask in-depth questions about the budget and other issues that were involving us on a local level, he was totally ignorant to any answer. He had no idea. His answer was, I've been in office for 6 months. Yes. How can you expect me to know that answer? And I said, sir, if I was in office for 6 months, I would know that answer by the first fucking day.
He knows enough to be sympathetic with the companies that are doing the GMO,
right? And
that says everything.
We asked which companies, and he hesitated, and then he mentioned Monsanto.